Welcome, welcome. Good morning, good morning. This is Sunday. It is my most favorite day of the week. It's the day I was born, the day I look forward to every week. It's the day we get to play football. It's the day that families come together. It is a day to go take time to go. A lot of people go to church. Some people don't go to church. That's totally your choice. I believe in God. Again, that's your choice. I highly recommend you believe in something. When you believe in something other than yourself, you put in your best foot forward, and maybe it gives you something inside. So, good morning, Bebop. Thank you very much for coming. But yes, Sunday is one of my most favorite days. It's the start of the work week. It is a lot of people dread Mondays, depending on how you operate on Sundays. Depends necessarily on how your Monday could go. If you party too hard, or if you're just overeating, or just not doing the right thing on Sunday, then Monday could be very rough on you. Sometimes Mondays are busy, depending on your job, your schedule, and some people are just not quite ready to get away from that Sunday. So Sundays for me is, again, a great day to be able to be around the family, be able to be around the couch and the house. I love the house. I'm a little bit of a hermit. I don't go too many places, and that's again my choice. And everyone has their own choices. I just feel like I have everything I need at home. When I need something, I'll go out and grab it. But for the most part, I'm happiest at home. So we are going to talk a little bit about 49ers. That's what this channel's about. We love talking 49ers. It's one of those things. You know, a lot of people have to have passion. They have to believe in something. Well, I believe in the 49ers. And I can tell you, I believe because I'm a faithful. And people throw that term around. They say, oh, you're a faithful. Well, yes, you have to be faithful. You have to believe in something. Again, sometimes when you believe in a spirit or a power beyond, it helps you calm down because not everything necessarily is in your hands. We can't control everything, but you can still believe. I believe in the Niners. I believe this is our year, and I will tell you why. The Niners have been one of the teams for the longest time that's been a really, really good team. And then we found success, and we got really good success in the 80s and mid 90s. And at the end of the 90s, we lost our champion. We lost our quarterback, and we just really haven't been able to resurface since then. Good morning, Damien. Thank you very much for coming. So, we, again, our champion, Steve Young. I love this reference, and I'm going to pull it from Damien because Steve Young talks about you have to have this it factor. And I think it was just so amazing to hear the guy talk about it. He was saying, some people, they have it. They might not be the size or the color or whatever, but they have it. And Steve Young didn't say exactly this. I'm throwing my own words in it, of course, but he talked about the players having the force. So some quarterbacks have that. Some players have the force. Maybe it's the faith. So I like to think it's not just for anyone. Sometimes you have to really just be put in the right position. You can go to one team and it just won't turn out to be, and you could go to a different team and totally the stars, everything align. So again, I think this team has the force behind it right now. I think this is our window. If you've seen the thumbnail, it shows the bottles of bubbly, the champagne. It's definitely going to be popping. And one thing that I would like to talk about is the reason this year could happen. The reason this year is going to happen is because the team is ready. We're primed. We're loaded. We were loaded last year, and we got all the way to the end of the race, and something happened. Our shoe wasn't completely tied. It was loose. We got a rock in it. Maybe the tread on the sole ran out. Things do happen. But the reason this year nothing other than us winning will happen is because this team is, again, powered by the force. Let me bring in my buddy Corey Davis, and we're going to continue this great conversation. Again, everybody, thank you very much for coming. I hope you brought a cup of coffee. We're going to get into some topics today about the 49ers, and we're going to discuss why this year is going to be our year.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning, Corey. Thank you for coming.
How you
We're gonna
doing?
Oh, I'm doing wonderful, and I just truly am. So the reason I wanted to start the show and talk about today is because I just got vibes about me. I don't know about you, Corey, but I I know it's been 29 years. It's been a very long time since we won the Super Bowl, but I can tell you this team definitely seems different. It just there's something about them. They don't seem to be super tight. They don't seem to be overdriven. They seem to be focused in the right direction, and it seems like they like each other. And I think that's the most important thing is when you're playing football and you enjoy playing football with your teammates and you enjoy going to work. It makes that atmosphere a little bit more tolerable. What is your thoughts?
Hmm. Yeah, I'm hoping, I'm praying that we can stay healthy. If we can stay healthy, we can go all the way to the Super Bowl. But I'm just gonna take it one game at a time.
Well, that's true. We can't rush it, and you definitely don't want to put the horse before the cart. But the reason I got this feeling, and I guess I get it every year before this time of the year or at the beginning, but this year does seem to be a little bit different. But I like to say I'm a faithful, and I know you're a faithful. And the reason I cling to that, and I truly believe, regardless if they win or lose, I'm watching the game next week, and I'm
Yeah,
trying to figure out any way that they could, physically possibly beat the team. If the other team comes in and they're a juggernaut, and this we have no chance of winning, I'm still trying to figure out a way. I'm looking for every little thing. Maybe our kicker can get in range. Maybe we can block a punt. Maybe it'll be a snow game. Maybe stranger things have happened, right? So, and we've had a lot of good examples of that over the last couple of years. So again, I really think this is our year. Corey, I need to step for a second and take a minute real quick. I got to turn my camera off. Can you tell us what a faithful means to you?
thank you for putting me in the spot. Um, faithful to me means that you loyal to your team. You're not wishy washy when they lose. You you go to another team. I was just talking to this British fan last week, and he said his brother is like that. He's not faithful to one team. He goes whoever team is winning. So he could be if the Rams are winning, he goes to that team. Buffalo Bills are winning, he goes to that team. He don't. He's a not a true fan. He's not faithful to one team. He's he's wishy washy. He's a what do you call a what do you call
Bandwagon fan?
bandwagon fan. Yeah. So you can't be faithful if you're a bandwagon fan.
Yep. Win or lose. Hopefully, we never tie. I am there. I am your guy. We are going to be there watching it, barbecuing, sitting on the couch, eating a bag of chips, whatever, we have for the day. But, if the game's on, I'm thankful. It is, again, one day, one reason I really, truly love Sundays. Let me bring on Dion, and we're going to
Good
continue
morning,
this great
Tony.
conversation.
Hey, what's going on, fellas?
Good morning, Di.
Good
Morning.
morning, Dion.
How y'all doing? How y'all doing?
Fine.
So I've been doing a little bit of digging, a little bit of researching. And if you guys would like to take a second, I want to split the screen. We don't have to get into a heated conversation, but I thought this was neat because of the records. Sometimes history is just really fun. Maybe I should wait until I get more people in here, but sometimes when you have just a few people, nobody gets, everybody can talk and everybody can get their feelings and stuff out, right? So let's go right here. This is our quarterbacks from 1946 to 1950. We had Frankie Albert, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 years of Frankie Albert without anybody else. Y.A. Tittle came in 51, 52. Then Y.A. Tittle took over the job in 53, 54, 55. Then Y.A. Tittle, the numbers are right next to it if anybody can see. Y.A. Tittle played 8 games. Earl Morrall, I think that's how you pronounce his name, played 4. Then Wyatt Tittle, so he was our guy, and he was a really good guy. Then you see this guy next to him, John Brody. That guy stuck around for a long time. So from 1957, to continue on, and I think I have it. I might be missing the 60s. I apologize. I am missing the 60s. I'll try to put that in my thing. But I have from 70 to 80, John Brody. And during the 60s, it was all John Brody. I'm so sorry I missed the 60s. But then you have John Brody to 72. He's still on the team. He starts splitting reps with Steve Spurrier. And this is the first time I think it's interesting. We have 3 quarterbacks.
Holy smack. Wait, Steve Spurrier was a quarterback for us at one point? Wow.
Yeah. Okay. So then in 1974, we had 4 quarterbacks. Then we had quarterback problems again in 75. Okay. I am missing a couple of these. We're going to revisit this. I'm so sorry. But it's not the first time that we've had quarterback issues. So we've had down here in 1999, 4 quarterbacks. Well, 3 quarterbacks. And then we had, I'm so sorry.
First of all, I don't even remember who the hell Steve Stenstrom is.
So then we jump. So here's the next one from 2002 to 2012. You know, Jeff Garcia, we know of him. But when you go to 2005, 4 quarterbacks again. Alex Smith, Tim Rattay, Ken Dorsey, Cody Pickett. 2007, again, 4 quarterbacks. Alex Smith, Trent Dilfer, Sean Hill, Chris Winkie. Then, you know, we were basically back and forth with Sean Hill, JT O'Sullivan. Sean Hill stayed around. Alex Smith, you know, the reason Alex Smith's here is he got injured, and then he didn't play for a little while. Alex Smith, Troy Smith, Alex Smith, Colin Kaepernick. That's the end of my little thing right there. We'll go back to it. I apologize. I thought I had the 80s and the 60s, and let me get back to it. I dropped the ball on that one, guys.
No, man, it's all good. It's the knowledge exists. So
I was trying to pull up the records where it was showing, but there's been 4 times that we've had quarterback issues from the 50s to 2012. 4 times we've had quarterback issues where we've had 4 quarterbacks playing. So having, you know, multiple quarterbacks play, that happens sometimes. And I think the reason it happens is there could be a multitude of things. There could be injuries on the offensive line. The offensive line's just garbage. It could be the play caller. It could be the guy behind center not making the right reads. So I think, again, you know, being healthy, that's something that you got to kind of like luck out on. I think, again, maybe the topic of the show is, do you have the force? Is the force with you? You know, because we know you can go out there and you can do it. But if you can't stay out there on the field, that's your best availability. Let me bring in David real quick.
Okay, so what's up, fellas? Good morning. Morning, faithful of the Empire. But this is something. So I was thinking about a comment I made last night, and you know, this ain't about Purdy versus Lance. It ain't about who's at QB at this point. Can fucking Kyle, oh, pardon my French, Brian, keep a quarterback healthy? Look back to the days of the beginning. He had Brian Hoyer. He ended up getting injured. You know, look at our second season. We lost James. We lost, you know, Nick Mullins. Or even the season that we, you know, acquired James. We lost Brian Hoyer. We lost C.J. Beathard. You know, I believe we even lost Nick Mullins, and that's why James came in. So then the next season, James gets hurt, and we're delegated to our backups. You know, 2019 was the one year that a quarterback was actually able to stay healthy. And then the rest of the years, name one that a quarterback has been able to stay healthy. You know, keep your quarterback upright, keep him safe. I don't see Kyle doing, you know, things to protect his QB. Like, you know, you're going up against a hardcore pass rush. Let's go with some quick slants, get that ball out before they even have a chance to get there. I don't see him doing that. So, you know, honestly, we have two good young QBs, and at this point, can we actually keep them healthy? Because right now the rep split up. I'm looking at it like Kyle's planning on going through 4 quarterbacks this year. That's not right.
It appears that way, doesn't it?
Yeah.
For me, the rep split just tells me that the writing's on the wall that Lance will be traded at some point this season. The rep split for me is just a slap in the face. Like, that's just how I see it. At the end of the day, Sam Darnold and Brandon Allen should be the last 2 quarterbacks to get any type of reps on this team. And yes, I do believe that Brock Purdy should be with the first team because that's who Kyle Shanahan has chosen as his starting quarterback. In my mind, that was a foregone conclusion, and that's what it is. So I deal with it. It is what it is. You wasted our picks, but you suck in the first round as it is anyway. So it's not like we were going to miss them because those picks, if we would have actually picked something up, probably would have turned out to be nothing because they don't ever listen to their scouts. That's neither here nor there. But honestly, I mean, I can see where you're coming from with that, Dave. Yeah, it does seem like he's trying to prepare to go through 4 quarterbacks, and that is horrible. Why would you want to? We are the only team in the league right now, currently, that people truthfully don't have from the head coach's mouth a starter. Though he hasn't he's never said it directly. We all know and understand the situation, and we know that it's going to be Brock Purdy. That's fine. But you holding back that information from who, I don't know. The main issue is because it's not a situation where we need to really think about it, like that. Other teams are probably going to go, I don't know, man, I'm not sure. But any smart head coach with a brain in their head knows your starter is Brock Purdy. You're not going back to Trey Lance. You're not going to basically say I have a win now type of team and then put in a guy that you don't really know a lot about and give him that opportunity. So for me, honestly, I agree with what you're saying, Dave. I do. But the other thing for me on that one is Trey Lance will be gone at some point this season. I've said it before. I'll say it again. Kyle has a type. He likes the Caucasian quarterback. That's his choice. That's his preference. It is what it is. I don't care that he does. It's just when people try to get on me about that or say that I'm saying something wrong, I always hit them with facts, and no one ever has a real rebuttal. It's very simple. It's just this type of quarterback, and it's cool. The issue is now you have Lance here. Let that kid go, man. Let him go. Trade him, do whatever you want to do. But let him get up out of here. Let him go somewhere where he has a true opportunity. Because for Lance to get, 1 or 2 reps, that's disrespectful. And to me, it's like, yo, if you made your decision, stand on it. Go to the podium. Brock Purdy is our guy, barring any injury, period. That's it. That's all you got to do is say that. But our head coach likes to play mind games, and he likes to watch the media squirm and everybody everybody get upset. Even he even will wind up having content creators at odds because some people will be more optimistic than others. I'm not an optimist. I'm a realist. And the real situation is Brock Purdy is your starter. Trey Lance might not be your backup. And it's only because it's just Kyle doesn't care. It doesn't bother him. It's not his type of quarterback. I don't believe he ever wanted Trey Lance. I believe he had to settle for Trey Lance just like he had to settle for Jimmy. And he put himself in that. So, unfortunately, looking at that timeline that you provided, Brian, that shows that we did. We ran through some quarterbacks. Y.A. Tittle being probably the most consistent, and Joe Montana probably being the most consistent. But both of them still had injuries. They brought in Steve Young, and that pissed off Joe. So you never know, but I mean, I would hope that he could have a slew of quarterbacks healthy, and we don't have to change. It would be nice to have the same guy year in and year out and not be worried about who's behind him because we don't know if that guy's going to last. But since Kyle has been here, that unfortunately has not been the case. And it kills me that people give him a pass for that. It's like, no, you obviously are not seeing that there's possibly something going on. He's got to be the issue in some way, shape, or form. It can't always be a freak injury or something that happens. And no, you can't blame him directly for the for the injuries, but you can say it's a weird correlation between Kyle and his quarterbacks. While he's been here, none of them can finish the season.
I did some fancy work in the background, and I got the 80s up. I mislooked. I have the 60s in my phone, but I don't want to keep it disturbing the video. So if you guys see me mute and another logo pop up, you know what I'm doing. But really quickly, we'll run over this real quick. We'll go back to the 40s. Frankie Albert was only our quarterback, and we only had maybe 1 or 2 seasons where we had a backup. That's okay, right? I mean, like, injuries happen. When you have, a backup quarterback, it's expected he might get some playing time. You go again to we got to jump to 60s because I didn't get that one put in, but the 70s, and primarily the 60s was John Brody. But you get into the 70s. Here you go again. 1973, 3 quarterbacks. 1974, 4 quarterbacks. 75, 3 quarterbacks. I think sometimes injuries happen again. Now we're going to jump to the new one that I just pulled in, the 80s. We had some quarterback issues. It started out in the 80s. Steve DeBerg, Joe Montana. Then Joe had the seasons for 3 years. Then we have another injury. We jump down to 86. We run with 3 quarterbacks. 87, we get 3 quarterbacks out there. And then we go for a couple years with only 2 quarterbacks. We jump to the 90s. Real quick, we're just running through this fast. We can always slow down and hash it. Joe and Steve. Steve and Steve. Then it was just Steve for a while. Then Steve and Elvis. Then we got Steve, Jim. That's 2 years. That's a year with 2 quarterbacks. 1998, a year with 2 quarterbacks. 99, 3 quarterbacks. Does anybody remember Steve Stenstrom? I don't think so. Then we got Jeff Garcia, for a couple solid years. And then the end of my research is 02 to 12. And, again, Garcia was here for a little while. Then we go 2 quarterbacks, 4 quarterbacks, 1 quarterback, 4 quarterbacks, 2, 1, 2. And then we know what happened after 2012, 2013. It was Blaine Gabbert. It was Kaepernick. And then from there, it just got worse and worse. So, but we can go back to this, and I'll try to get the 60s in so we can cross-reference it. But keeping a quarterback is very important. I don't know how hard it is for other teams, but for us, we've had multiple years where we need more than one guy to suit up and throw that ball. So, David, what's your thoughts? And we'll go to Corey after that.
Well, NFL is a violent sport, and injuries do happen. But, it was like I was saying before, you can scheme the offense to keep guys from touching your quarterback. But Kyle runs, his system. And a lot of times you need a little bit of time for guys to get open. And right now, our left side of our offensive line is solid. Trent Williams, Aaron Banks, that's solid. Jake Brindle has been in the league a long time, and he barely gets. And we, didn't. I don't know if we gave him the starting job or if he earned it. I'm thinking we gave it to him. But then, we have Spencer Burford, the rookie, on the right side, and he did pretty good for us last year. And his trajectory, he's going to just get better. So, but then we have McKivitz, who, not in pads. And I've been told by a couple people that once they put the pads on, things will hopefully change. But not in pads, he is just not looking good. And how are you supposed to keep a quarterback healthy if you can't protect him?
Right? Like what? You're just expecting him to be Iron Man. And a lot of people give CJ Beathard a hard time about this. And you guys will see my number 3 jersey. It's not a CJ Beathard jersey, it's my personal cult jersey. But the reason I love CJ is because that dude would stand back there in the back and he would take the ball. And sometimes he didn't get the ball out fast enough. That's on him. But he'd get hit and he'd get right back up. And to me, that shows a lot of heart. That shows toughness. And, he did what we needed for the time. He needed to take the hits while the team could gel and learn the playbooks because everybody knows Kyle's so complicated. His scheme takes so many years to develop. So you're going to start, Brian Hoyer, the destroyer, and then you run in CJ because Hoyer is horrible. And again, the team, the gel, everything had to, facilitate and, Akeem come together. It's one of those things. It's like, CJ just did what he needed to do, and that's why the team loves CJ. That's, I know a lot of people don't like CJ because his stats and stuff like that, but if you look at him overall, he did what this team needed. So shout out to CJ. But yeah, guys, I mean, got to keep our quarterbacks healthy, regardless of who's under center. We have to keep them healthy. So, yeah, you can lose your life. Ryan right here. Thank you, Ryan, for coming. He brings up football is dangerous. You can lose your life, your body, even friends. And it's true because, I started playing football, right? And this is what's funny. I thought, hey, I'm a good quarterback. I'm the best one on the block. Well, I'm only like 5'2" at the time. If I was lucky, I never even played Pop Warrior football, but I played with people who did, so I have some knowledge, I'm like, hey, they taught me some stuff I can catch and I'm faster than they are, right? And big heart, right? So I go out training camp, Hell Week and all that. I make the team. But as I'm making the team, I'm starting to see more and more of my friends that I know from junior high and elementary school. We all make it up at high school. And we're like, we're going to be freshmen. We're going to play freshman football. More and more of them aren't on the team. More of them aren't coming to practice. And the season starts and I get a jersey number. I'm on the team and I start noticing there's an attitude towards me from some of these guys that didn't make the team or decided not to make the team. I'm not big on video games and I'm not, big on stuff like that. So some of that, like, I don't know, some of that stuff I just can't talk about, so I'm sorry, my parents, we didn't have a lot of money. I didn't have all the cable channels. So some stuff I have a passion for sports, so I'm kind of geared that way and talking to people.
Really quick, Brian, let me interrupt you. Y'all ain't never had a black box, bro?
No, my dad was, my dad's one of those guys. He's like, we heard about having a black box in the late 90s and you could get in trouble, big time trouble. Then we went over,
bro, man, everybody had a black box, man. I know we had one. I was the one who figured it out.
So
my buddy was doing it. That's the only thing. You keep going. I just was like, yo, yeah, you get a black box, bro.
No, so this is what's the funny thing is, right? My dad, he tried to walk the straight line, and he does. He's my dad's not been to jail. I mean, if he had been, it was long time ago. I think he got arrested for drinking. Yeah, he did. He got arrested for drinking a beer in a park one day and had to spend the night in jail in Sacramento. So that's that. You can't drink a beer in the park, and that's the rule. So he got arrested for that. But long story short, my neighbor, who is a police officer, we go into his house. He's got a black box. Again, my dad's not going to pull that, he's not going to do it, so, but yeah, I know everybody had one, but again, I played football, so I started noticing some of my friends and stuff like that, not on the team. And I'm thinking, well, what's going on? And then you start losing friends because your choices in life, you've went to a different fork in the road. Right. So again, it's like, I can't make you play football. The coach can't make you, you have to show up for practice. You have to run the laps. And I did that and I made the team. So, if you don't put in the effort, you're not going to get anywhere. And I'm sorry, sometimes you do lose friends and, sometimes you get injuries and stuff and that happens. And you choose to either continue to play or you choose to, retire. And there's nothing wrong with retiring. If it's for your health and you need to do something else and it's for your safety. I'm 37 years old. I want to be alive and I want to be healthy enough to be able to throw the football with my little kids, my little grandkids, and possibly the great grandkids. I don't want to be tackling out there. I don't want to be playing, turkey bowl, and being super grandpa out there. But I would definitely like to be able to like, hey, the ball ran over to grandpa's feet. I could at least pick it up and throw it to the, the kids that are playing. I want to be healthy in my older age. So again, I'm not a football player. I only played high school, but I do. You definitely see stuff like that happen. You continue on in sports, or you continue on, in certain going to a college or something, and your other friends don't make it. The next thing attitudes and friendships they burn sometimes. Corey, what's your thoughts before we get too far ahead? Because I can talk. You guys know that. Corey, what's your thoughts on the quarterback situation and keeping them healthy?
I could see, back in the days, back in the era where it was hard to keep quarterbacks healthy because there was no safety rules like it is now. Back in the day, you go out there and murder a quarterback, almost take his head off. So I can see, why, you go through a lot of quarterbacks. But now, with all the procedures or safety rules, it shouldn't be that hard. But with Cal's system, I guess it's so hard. It's just like like that Eagles game, one missed block. The guy didn't block. Boom, Brock Purdy get creamed. It is. Yeah, we need to keep our quarterbacks up and healthy. Cal need to figure a way in this system how we could keep our quarterbacks up. By either, like David McKnight is saying, getting rid of the ball out your hand, not holding on that ball for long. And some of the referees, they gave Tom Brady the protection and Aaron Rodgers the protection. They should be more too protecting our quarterbacks. We don't get the calls sometimes when our quarterbacks get roughed. You hit. You're like, So, Cal need to figure it out. And yes, I know it's going to be Brock Purdy. But I'm hoping, I'm praying that we at least either let Trey go or give him a shot. Give him a couple plays. Give him something. Do something. Find something for him. But who knows? Like they were saying, I know Board Sports talked about this, that some of the deep balls that Brock Purdy was trying to throw, it wasn't reaching. Receivers is falling short. So maybe at that time when you want to do a deep play, I know you can't because then the team defense gonna read what you're doing. I don't know. Yeah, that's true. Can't do that because they gonna know you trying to do a deep pass. Every time Trey come in, was a deep pass.
Well, and also at the same time, we drafted Trey and we were going in a different direction because James Richard Garoppolo can't stay on the field. But that was one thing, and he sucked in the playoffs. Let's be honest. But then Trey, he's starting. He's in Seattle. Unfortunately, gets his ankle broke. Right. Then here comes James. And Juice, and we're back to playing. It's 49er football. No, that was the season before. That's right. Before the Denver Bronco game, after James said, it's like riding a bike. And then he looked like he was confused. But then, here comes James, and he's in a contract year. So here he is, knowing that he's not going to be on the 49ers next year, doing the best he can. And he did pretty good. Till week 13, he tried to take off running with two, 300-ish pound linemen on him. And, your foot ain't going to put up to that. So then here comes Brock, and he took us all the way to the NFC Championship game and also got hurt. So it was like I was saying, got to keep quarterback healthy. With the team we have, even with, I don't want to say it, but I'm going to. Even with Kirk Cousins at quarterback, we would be damn good.
Oh,
But I'm not saying I want him. I'm not saying that because he is aging. He's only going to be around for a couple years. I'd rather have a young quarterback to help build a long-term, winner. And I don't want Kirk Cousins. He sucks in prime time anyway.
Yeah, that's the biggest issue with him. He fails when the lights are on, and that's my biggest problem. A lot of people are like, "How can you say the things that you say about Kirk Cousins?" Simply put, he don't show up when you need him to. I don't care about the I'll give you the perfect example: Peyton and Eli. Peyton is the greatest regular season quarterback ever. You know why? Because you knew you was going to the playoffs. You knew it. Outside of his rookie year, he's never missed the playoffs. But when Peyton got to the playoffs, did he always win? No. Nope. It was always a question. Now look at Eli, one of the worst regular season quarterbacks ever. Horrible record. Iron Man, always there, always available. Wasn't going to always give you a great game, though. But when he went to the playoffs, did he not deliver?
Yes.
So that's where it matters. If we scrape through the season every single year at 10-7, 11-6, but when we get to the playoffs, we got bread. I don't care about that record. I know I got to do this, go get in the playoffs, win these games, get us another Lombardi, and that's it. And this is why the Kansas City Chiefs are so consistent, because they have Patrick Mahomes. With Mahomes, what do you know at a bare minimum? Man, we're going to make the playoffs at minimum this year. As long as he's healthy, we're good. You know that. That's a fact. Every player in that locker room knows that. Now, are you going to win every year? It's a toss-up. But, hey, you know you get into the AFC Championship at a bare minimum. So if you get there, you have a really high probability of going to the Super Bowl. So the consistency at quarterback has to be maintained. And if you're going to ride with Brock, ride with him. But get out there and back him, for God's sakes. Just say it. Stop trying to play mind games and think you 2 steps ahead of people, because I hate when people give Kyle a chess analogy. Oh, he's 3 steps ahead. He's not 3 steps ahead of a damn thing. He just likes to try to make that he likes to think that he makes people, all discombobulated in their head about things, when anybody with a simple brain in their head can decipher the fact, bro, that's your guy. Like, it kills me that every single year, outside of Jimmy Garoppolo, Kyle has never named a starter. Mm-hmm. And even when Jimmy was playing, he still did that. And I don't understand that. Why are we the only team in the league that can't say, all right, this dude is number 1, without us all having to speculate, because our head coach won't even come out, open his mouth and say something so simple as Brock is our starter. Like, why do we have to suffer through that every single year? That and I stick to my guns when I say this. We were run heavy with Trey. We were pass happy with Brock and Jimmy. Mm-hmm. And that tells you what Kyle thought. You can't run him into the ground. Trey Lance isn't Justin Fields or Lamar Jackson. That athleticism belongs to those 2 dudes and those 2 dudes alone, because Lamar can flat out fly. And Justin Fields is proven to be a really good runner of the football. He doesn't take hits. He's smart. He makes the right decisions. Same thing with Lamar. But the key with Trey Lance is make running his last option. Hey, man, look, if the play breaks down and there's truly nothing there, go ahead and get us those few yards. We'll look at the film and see exactly what happened. If there was somebody open, we'll go over that, whatever, you'll develop. But running is your last option. You're going to be in that pocket. You're going to trust the guys that are in front of you. We're going to figure it out. But no, You decide that Trey Lance is Lamar or Justin Fields, and you running all over the place. It doesn't make sense. You've got to allow somebody to be the guy. But Kyle, give that title to him. Just give it to him. Mm-hmm. I'm not mad at it, people. I know a lot of people looking there like, well, you defend Trey. So I do, because I feel like he got the short end of the stick here. It's pretty messed up how he was done, and that's just my opinion. Some people don't believe that. That's fine. But at the end of the day, this right here is what matters. Shout out to my man right over here. This guy, he always says that. I'm for this is what I'm about. Not about one person.
Team on the front.
It's this. Yep. At the end of the day, I want us to get a damn championship. If Brock brings it, oh freaking well, we got it.
So this is my thoughts with the whole Trey Lance situation. And I'm being, brutally honest. I think everybody's heard this before. And I want everybody else to tell us too, we'll go, there's 4 of us, everybody keep listening. We appreciate you being here. Hope you got a cup of coffee. We can talk for an hour or two. I don't mind.
This is tea, baby. This is good.
Oh, I love it.
I love tea.
Are you Barry Allen or Wally West?
Wait a minute now. I don't know what that means.
Are you a Jay Garrett kind of guy? Flash.
No. I got this cup because my favorite color is red. That's literally why I got it, man. I'm not a I'm not a DC guy. My favorite comic book character, honestly, is Black Panther. I didn't know about him until the movie had come out. So I went back. I've done my research. Shout out to my brother-in-law, my hermano. He hooked me up with some comic books. My wife has even gotten me a few for my birthday. So I've been doing my research. But yeah, I'm a Black Panther kind of dude. But my favorite color is red. So this cup was just amazing.
Hey,
Six Flags for my birthday.
I'm a big superhero guy, and awesome. One of my favorite cups in the house, even though I'm a Batman guy, one of my favorite cups is a Flash cup, and it's just just like your logo. It doesn't have maybe the tie dye on it, but it's more it's just that vibrant red. And I don't know. Every time I like getting a cup of coffee out of it in the morning, I feel like I got a little bit more juice. I don't know what it is, but
hey, you know what? You make your point and say what you need to say. You just gave me a bright idea for a question for the panel, so go right ahead.
All right, so I'm gonna try to say it quick. I don't think Trey Lance was originally the pick, but I knew that they wanted to get a quarterback. I do believe Kirk Cousins was their.
Thank you. I appreciate you for agreeing with me, Brian. I appreciate that, sir. I do.
I really don't think Trey Lance was the original pick, and I think there's evidence to point to that. And I don't think they really wanted Brian Hoyer. They settled with Brian Hoyer. They did get CJ, but they got CJ and Kittle. You got to kind of package them together. It was like, hey, they went to go look at CJ. They were like, he looks pretty good. He's throwing the ball and it's not dropping and it's not hitting the ground. Well, who's he throwing it to? And they seen that he had that big tight end over there. So they brought them both in, right? The Bash brothers, whatever you want to say. So we're okay with that, right? Then we didn't get Tom Brady during the 2017 season. I think they were all doing their due diligence to try to get him, but something happened. I don't know if there was a conversation and then that happened, the 28-3 remark. I don't know if it was then or if Kraft just didn't want to let him go. But there was also a reason that Jimmy needed to leave New England. And whether or not this is true or not, there has been a baby born. And it's not Robert Kraft's baby. It's Robert Kraft's girlfriend's baby with somebody else. We don't know who it is, but Jimmy had to be jettisoned out of the situation. So he's no longer in New England, but we know the Bills, the Patriots coach likes Jimmy. Okay. So whatever, Kraft got rid of him. We get Jimmy. Then we didn't even know if we were going to keep Jimmy after the 5 games he played and stuff. There was this whole, and he didn't talk like he really wanted to be here either. He was just trying to get his contract up as high as he did. So we give him the highest paid contract. And then next thing we know, he gets hurt in 2018. So now we're kind of stuck with him, but we're still mulling around and trying to figure out who we wanted to, we need a quarterback that can stay healthy. Well, 2019 comes and he goes to the Super Bowl, but somewhere during that season, he gets injured. I think he injured his throwing arm. And I think there's something, and they didn't really release it. We get to the playoffs and the dude chokes. He chokes pretty hard in the playoffs. And instead of us, giving the game away, we ran the ball down everybody's throat. and we were successful at it. We would have won the Super Bowl if it wasn't for some of those questionable calls. Jimmy even threw the ball well in the Super Bowl, but there was some points in the game where, instead of running the ball, they audibled when the Chiefs were stacking the box, and he didn't make the throws he should have made. I think there was a couple of times he was a little too timid. Instead of, saying, I'm going to do this and I'm going to win the game, Kyle, he said, no, I'm going to listen to Kyle. And then he didn't throw the open pass to Kittle, or he didn't, do what he should have done and just been a quarterback. You got to go out there and win the game. Even if the coach told you to do this, if you know it's right and you're going to win the game, you got to do it, right? So he didn't do that. And then from there, we've been thinking, okay, we're going to move off of Jimmy. We're going to move off of Jimmy. Then that Tom Brady thing comes back up. Aaron Rodgers comes back up. Then before we can get any of those, I think that 28-3 conversation happened then. And that's when Tom Brady was like, I'm not coming to San Francisco if we are not going to gel. But he goes to Tampa Bay. And then at that time, we were like, hey, we gotta get a quarterback. So we don't have any capital, but we have the first round. We offer the Jets the first round pick for Sam Darnold. We miss out on Stafford because we were holding our feet, dragging our feet, waiting for Watson. I guess it's a good thing that we didn't get Watson at this time. But again, if that wasn't released by the ownership and the ownership would have got what they wanted out of Watson, would we even know about the massages? Would that even be an issue? No, they didn't get the capital that they wanted for him at the time, and they didn't get it just broke down. So they were like, okay, well, you're going to leave. We're going to set you on fire. And that's kind of what happened with Watson. I'm sure there's a lot of other people out there that have similar situations. I'm not saying it's right, but, he is a grown man, and he is, that's his choice, and if, again, I'm not saying it's right, but I don't think we would have known that if the deal would have been made with San Francisco prior. So now we come up and we try to trade for Sam Darnold. We don't get him because the Jets aren't sold on Zach Wilson, but they won't budge and give us the second round pick. They won't trade with us. So we end up trading up to the third round pick. And even with the third round pick capital, the Jets won't let us, move around. We know Trevor Lawrence goes to Jacksonville. He's the number one quarterback for this draft. He's supposed to be for the next 10 years. He's supposed to be really good, but he went to Jacksonville. So we'll see what happens. But the night before the draft happened, we asked Aaron Rodgers, do you want to come to the Niners? We asked Green Bay, you guys willing to trade? They said no. And then we go and draft Trey Lance. Now, there's some things that happened with the Trey Lance thing. Everybody was watching him in practice. He had his own workout, and the Niners didn't make it. Then we had a private workout for him. There's something said that there was several plays that was handed to all the quarterbacks, Mac Jones and Trevor Lawrence, and not Trevor Lawrence, but Justin Fields and Trey Lance, and they all were supposed to, make this play happen. And the only one who did it right was Lance. So now we're going to take Lance. They all knew he didn't have a whole lot of time in the league, in college, and he didn't play quarterback a lot in high school. So you're taking a development, you're taking a risk, and for you not to have a plan on this guy when you probably could have sat back at 12, I believe that was where we were at, and took him at 12. If you would have just been quiet about it and started making so much noise about we need a quarterback, maybe if you didn't ask for Sam Darnold and beg for him, from the Jets in the beginning, around February, I think that's when they started doing it. If you didn't beg for Aaron Rodgers, if you didn't turn your nose up to Tom Brady. This has been happening several years now. If you even go back to when Peyton Manning left the Broncos, the Colts, we could have had Peyton Manning. We could have won Super Bowls then, but we wanted to turn our nose up and say we're going to home grow and we are going to build within, and we're going to have Kaepernick win the Super Bowl for us. We believe in Kaepernick when we could have just went out for a veteran. We've had the capital several times, but instead we're going to say, oh no, we're going to do it the cheap way. I want the Niners to stop being cheap. And we spent a lot of money on Trey Lance, and I think this is my question. Last year, was there a quarterback controversy at all? Was there a quarterback competition at all? Jimmy was hurt. He was supposed to be leaving. Everybody expected him to be off the team. We couldn't get that moved because, his surgery, whatever he did, his agent, the dominoes fell in place. But he was not supposed to be on the team. We let Nate Sudfeld go. We have Brock Purdy, Jimmy Garoppolo. Jimmy, who didn't practice any in training camp. We knew he wasn't going to be competing. Brock Purdy was Mr. Irrelevant. Nobody really said anything about him except, oh, he's Mr. Irrelevant. And we were all, Nate Sudfeld's going to make the team because we give him guaranteed money. But he was going to make the team as the second string. Everybody knew it. Trey had his chance last year. He was given the job last year. He just got hurt. and nobody can help that he got hurt. And it's interesting that both quarterbacks, Trey and Jimmy, both got hurt running out of the pocket when the play was supposed to be a pass. They decided to run out of the pocket. So, I mean, again, you have to make those decisions. You have to have those plays in your head and be ready to make a football decision. But you can't prevent injuries. And both of them got injured. And we were lucky that we got Brock Purdy last year. And that's my breakdown of what's happened with the quarterbacks.
Really quickly, I want to say this. People, if you haven't paid close attention to see that Kyle lies, let me give you the perfect statement from Mr. Shanahan himself. That is a bold-faced lie. You don't lose your job to injury. That's a lie. It's a flat-out lie. You know why? Because last year, there's a young man by the name of Jimmy Ward. Supposed to start opposite Talanoa Hufanga. Was he not? And Jimmy couldn't start the season. When it was time for Jimmy to come back, was he not told, basically, in so many words, ride the bench or play nickel? Coach, I was injured. I thought I couldn't lose my job due to injury. Well, yeah, you lost it, and that's your option, or we don't care. Trey Lance last year winds up getting injured. Thought you couldn't lose your job due to being injured, though. But now, Brock Purdy is your incumbent starter. So, be honest with you. Quit getting up there lying.
Yeah.
Keep it a buck. It's my biggest issue with Kyle. He's never straightforward. Kyle, what color is this hat? Well, it's red, but the sun's hit it a little bit, so it looks a little oranges. And the colors may be gold, but that could be just like a pitch of yellow. I'm not sure if we're going to be alive tomorrow. No one needs that. And though I don't like Grant Cohn because of the whole Kinlaw situation, I give him a small amount of respect. You know why? He's blatant with his questions. He is the only media person that asks a straightforward question. Everyone else softballs Kyle all day long. Oh, well, Kyle, what do you think about this, or with this situation, how should that? No. Grant Cohn literally asks Brock Purdy straight up, has Kyle told you that you're going to be the starter for the beginning of the season? Straight out. There's no sugarcoating, no cut, no nothing. Straight up. Did Kyle tell you were a starter? We haven't had those conversations. Brock was obviously coached on that. Because you can't just slip up and be like, of course I'm the starter. What you mean? Because then Kyle has to come to the podium and confirm that. And he don't want to do that. Because he thinks he's playing chess when he ain't doing nothing but playing checkers. He ain't even playing checkers. He's playing goldfish at this point. If the Steelers are preparing for anyone outside of Brock Purdy, they're stupid. They need to be prepared for him, looking at every bit of tape, film. Okay, he likes to roll out this way. We need to take that away. That's what they need to be doing. But it just kills me that when Kyle lies, so many 49er fans just give him a pass, and they chalk it up to him being intelligent when I'm like, there's nothing intelligent about something so obvious. When you want to be deceptively intelligent, it has to really appear that way. What you're doing has to really have a means to an end. And he doesn't have that. You can't tell me I'll lose my job to injury, then I come back and I done lost my job to injury. Because I'm going to look at you and that, you know what that does to me? That diminishes my trust in you.
Yeah. And I don't think you're saying that you can't lose your job to injury. I think you're saying, don't tell me I can't lose my job to injury. Don't tell me it's going to be there. Because we all know this is a moving machine, and if I have to sit down or I have to take a break,
thank you, baby.
You're going to keep moving on. You're going to keep moving on. And
when you go, I'll turn it. Oh, sorry, man. My bad. I was talking to my wife. I should have muted myself.
No, you're okay. But that's the whole thing we're a moving machine. So if you have to take a break, there because you're injured and you sit down, we still need somebody to perform. You know, we're a factory. You know, we got to produce. So it sucks. Kaepernick, you know, he took over for Alex Smith. I think everybody at the time was really impressed with Alex Smith. But then when Kaepernick came in and started lighting it up, I think we all were like, whoa, Alex Smith who? You know, sorry, Alex. And I think that's just the way it worked. But for us right now, because Trey Lance is really fresh and Brock Purdy's really fresh, I think it's a little bit too soon to have that kind of feeling. Because with Alex Smith, we can go back and look, but from 2005 to 2009, you know, I mean, he was battling different quarterbacks because he couldn't stay healthy. You can't stay healthy. I mean, we like you, but you got to stay healthy. So,
best ability is availability.
Corey, what's your thoughts, buddy?
You know, like I said before, I've been preaching this before. With the way Cal used Trey Lance, say he needs to go back and see how the 49ers, Seifert, and Bill Walsh use Steve Young. They didn't say, okay, Steve Young, you're going to run the ball. No, Steve Young went back there. He dropped back. If the receiver's not open and he sees a chance for him to run, he's going to run. But if he sees a chance that he can throw that ball, he's going to throw that ball. He wasn't using Steve Young as a running back. And that's what my feel with Kyle. He's using Trey Lance as a running back. Let's run him the ball. Let's run. Run him. He did it with at Washington.
RG3. Mm-hmm.
RG3. He did it with him.
Mm-hmm.
Used him as a running back. Kyle gotta get out of his head. Because if the quarterback can run, I'm gonna use him as a running back. We gotta use him as a quarterback. Trey Lance can throw that ball. Let him throw. Put in the same kind of offense you used with Jimmy and Brock Purdy. You know, give the man a chance.
Yeah. And it's honestly, like when I'm looking at all of that, I just sit there and I say to myself, like, it's understanding the skill set, but in the process of it, it's not overutilizing one skill.
Mm-hmm.
Because at the end of the day, you're going to have to be able to stand in the pocket and throw a pass. It's just going to have to happen. You know, with the Alex Smith and Kaepernick situation, honestly, I thought they were like, you know what? The kid won the game last week. Maybe Alex will give you an extra week to chill out, like to really get your head right, because that is a concussion, and concussions can linger.
He didn't win. It was against the Rams, and we tied. He didn't even win. He tied.
You're right. So
I mean, like, I'm not saying that he shouldn't have continued to play. He definitely, you know, could have kept playing, and we seen the fruits of it. But you didn't even win the game. You were just more explosive.
Wait a minute. Yeah. Oh no, Kaepernick won his first start, which was against the Bears. That's what happened. Yes. So I'm thinking, at the end of the day, either way, I'm feeling like you're just giving Alex Smith an extra week to kind of really get your head right, recover. No problem. But when he just stuck with him, I was like, okay, now that's just low-key a little shady. Yes, I love what Kaepernick did. Fantastic guy, you know, great in the playoffs. I ain't too keen on his woman. She's an idiot. She did some things that basically screwed that man out of getting back into the NFL, which was what he so-called wanted to do. But either way, neither here nor there. But I honestly think that it's a situation where you look at the quarterbacks on our squad. The only other person on this team that has a cannon for an arm is Sam Darnold. And he don't know how to use that very well, as proven in evidence from his film. So it just kills me that we're back at square one to an extent. But like I think for me, I guess I would find some confidence and peace if Kyle just blatantly said it. Hey man, Brock's our guy. He's our starter. Just to quell all of the BS, because all that is just like content creators are just eating that up, and it's a consistent theme. Well, we got to talk about the quarterback situation. You don't. And a lot of people are like, well, Kyle, no, why are you trusting what that man is saying when he blatantly lies to you? That's like being cheated on. And the person says, I'm never going to do it again. But then they cheat again. And you take them back. What else are you going to expect but for them to cheat again? So when it happens, don't be surprised. There was a high probability this was going to happen regardless. So I don't know. But the question that I have for the panel, unless you have something else to say, Brian, go ahead.
Real quick, I just kind of wanted to get everybody's thought. Sam Darnold would have been on the team, 2 years ago when we tried to offer, the Jets a first round pick for him. Mm-hmm. I think we can all agree his record wouldn't be the same. He probably would be a different man. And it's just one of those things. 2 years removed, those 55 starts, we know he would have put some wins in those 55 starts. The fumbles could have still happened. The interceptions probably still happened, but he definitely probably would have composed some wins in that. He might have been Jimmy 2.0 or better than Jimmy. But I think and this is my point, I think Kyle falls in love with these quarterbacks and he can't get them until it's too late. We look at, Kirk Cousins. If he does get Kirk Cousins, that could be a really nice marriage, right? I don't want to see it with the Niners because I think it's a little too long. It's been too long before that. It should have happened right away. Now you got something like, Sam Darnold. He wanted Sam Darnold years ago. Now he got some. So now you have him, but has it been too long? So, I think that's something that we should think about too when we look at Kyle, because he seems to fall in love with quarterbacks and he stays on them. He can't look at anybody else. And it's like, hey, they might be the pretty girl in the room, but you might not be able to get them. So I'm not saying shoot low. You should always aim for the stars, but maybe there's another pretty wallflower out there that you might be able to go and dance with, and you might have more fun with that one. Or, you get it? I mean, like, not everybody can get the star, so. David, what's your thoughts?
I honestly just read a comment from No Border Sports, and no, you can't trust Kyle to tell the truth. But when it comes to this, he historically, look at what he's done to the media. He always trolls them. He never flat out answers a question. And I honestly think he hates even dealing with the media. That's just from what I've seen. And at this point, some people are throwing the narrative that he's game planning for week 1. Doesn't want Pittsburgh to know who the starter is. No, that's not the case. He probably doesn't care about that. And it's almost like they're doing it to get the content creators and the media going, and every year every off season is just full of speculation. That's just how our team is. The Niner Empire is vast. And when it comes down to it, I would definitely like to know who the starting QB is. Name them, because at this point, the conversation is just getting the living. I can't say that, beaten out of it. And it's done. It's dead. It's been gone. Should be 6 feet under in a casket at this point.
Yeah, I agree. One thing, we can't trust Kyle. I don't really want to trust him either. If he came out and told me everything, I don't think that would be smart. You do have to have some kind of deception. You can't just show everybody your cards, but there is a certain extent where we should feel a little bit more confident, or, feel like, yes, you didn't say the direction, but we can see it, but when you start painting and you're using water paint, but you're using your fingers, and then, next thing we know, you stop and then you want to start going back, and we're like, wait, are you going to let it dry? What's going on with your painting? You keep putting your fingers all on it. So, I don't know. It's just like, again, I don't want to trust everything he says because I wouldn't want him to be completely honest, but I definitely would like to see what kind of direction, or have a feel, some kind of sense that this is what we're going to be doing. But it's definitely been ugly. The national media has been pushing, And it's like they know how to go fishing, and we're like their little goldfish or whatnot. We keep taking the bait, and if you know anything about goldfish, they're not too bright. So come on, faithful, let's get a little bit brighter, right? Don't feed into it. Corey, what you got up there, buddy?
Kyle, yeah, he's gonna never tell the truth. He's not gonna come out and tell you what his plans is. He just gonna wishy-washy it around. Cause I would like to ask him a question. I was like, Cal, who's our quarterback? Could you please tell us? Because we got constant creators out here fighting one amongst each other, blocking each other, because they can't get, because they have an argument who's the quarterback. And it seems like we the only team that goes through this. Who's our quarterback? I'm getting tired of Rams fans saying, y'all don't know y'all quarterback. Yeah. We know ours. We know ours going to be Matthew Stafford. And it's terrible how we had to go through this stuff every year. That's why I can't wait for the season to start so we can stop talking about our quarterback situation. We finally know who's our quarterback. And the only thing we can pray is that quarterback can stay healthy.
That's why I like to joke a little bit. I think you guys get that about me. I try to be I'm a very serious person, but I like to, throw little jokes out there. I do have a little bit of a dry humor, so you kind of have to listen to some of those jokes because I do say some smart ass shit sometimes, but it's all in fun. I'm not trying to put anybody down. I'm not trying to be a cynical person. I'm just try to joke sometimes. And, you guys see the kickers on the, overlay. You guys see, I'm wearing the Moody jersey, why talk about the quarterback all the time? Well, this is the reason you talk about the quarterback all the time. I tell you, the reason they get the ball in their hand almost every play. They are the leader of the team. They are the leader of the locker room. And if you don't have a leader, then what are you? I guess you're just you a bunch of guys slapping ass in a locker room or something, right? No, we need a direction. We do need a leader. And I think that's the difference between like Jimmy and Trey. Because Jimmy was he might have been a rookie, but he was a veteran in the league. He's been in the league for 4 years before he came to our team, had 2 Super Bowl rings. Even if they're on the bench, he still went to the Super Bowl. You've seen the confetti drop. You know what it's like. You know what the smell is. It's not like your first, you're not green behind the ears. So when Kyle went for Brian Hoyer, you're like, okay, you can see the sense of the direction he's going for. He wanted Kirk Cousins. We didn't get that. We don't like that. We're all happy with that. Because, again, I don't think he's the direction we want to go. But whatever, that's Kyle's guy. He wants him, right? Well, now it's funny. Kyle's got one of his guys, CMC. He used to babysit this guy. His dad won a Super Bowl with his dad. So it's like it's really funny. It's like now you got your family together. You got your family and your friends. And, so let's go and get that ring, right? Now you need a quarterback.
Now, just to clarify that's another thing. That's another lie that Kyle told, but he admitted it was a lie. He was like, I didn't do the babysitting, but my sister really did. That he was honest about. He was like, nah, I wasn't really doing that, man. I mean, the kid was around, but my sister was really the one, keeping that eye on him and whatnot. Man, I was bro, like, I didn't know that Julian Edelman went to prom with Jerry Rice's daughter.
Wow.
Wild. I had no clue. He was on Bussin' with the Boys and he was talking about it. I was like, you went to prom with who? I was like, okay. Oh, okay. I didn't know you got that close to the man, the myth, the legend.
Was he the one who was saying he was trying on the rings when he wasn't in the house?
Yeah, when he was in the house. Yeah, bro. Yeah, wild. I mean, don't get me wrong. I would have done it myself. I swear to you, I would have done it. I'd have put every ring on. I'd have found a way to. Hey, give me that. You remember the old school camera back in the day, right? You had to hold the button on the flash and then wind it like that. I used to literally develop that film when I worked for Albertsons a long time ago. Crazy stuff. But yeah, man, to me, it's very simple. Like, like Terra Dome said in the comments, I don't go by what Kyle says. I go by what he does. And Brock Purdy is the starting QB. Now, a lot of content creators will tell you no, and that's not, he didn't say it. Why are you waiting on the man who openly lies to you to take? I'll do it like this. And it's nothing against my dad because, me and him are cool now. Everything is cool. But that would be like that's the equivalent of me waiting on my dad to come pick me up as a child. 9 times out of 10, his ass wasn't going to show. So why would I stay outside when you ain't coming? No, I'm going to go in the house. I'm going to play video games. I'm probably about to make other plans. Why? You ain't going to show. It is what it is. I'm not mad at you. I just know the truth of it. So it's like, don't allow yourself to be blatantly lied to when you know the truth of something. Like, that's the whole point. Like, that's like your job telling you, hey, man, we got overtime this week. But they never offer overtime. And every time before that, they said they was going to give OT. Magically, it never happens. Do you really believe them at this point? No, because it doesn't happen. I know the OT isn't coming. So I ain't even worried about that. But that's just, that's my thought process on those things. But I did have a question. And I'm going to throw this out there. And I'm going to start with you, Dave. Give me a superhero that most resembles Fred Warner.
Ooh. I'm going to say Superman.
Ooh. Elaborate by all means.
Well, when it comes to injuries, Fred Warner's always on the field. Like last year, we had a scare in the NFC Championship game. He came back in, so he's bulletproof, right?
Yeah.
He's everywhere, and he even covers wide receivers downfield. Who's capable? What linebackers in the league are capable of doing that?
Mm-hmm.
So he does have superpowers. Yes.
Okay, I like that. Okay, we're gonna kick it up to Brian. Give me a superhero who, huh?
Cyborg.
Oh, well, no. We're not going with the same person. We're switching.
No. Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah, we're switching.
Warner. Okay.
He had Warner.
Okay.
So, give me a superhero who best resembles Nick Bosa.
Ooh.
From the Fantastic Four.
It doesn't. Whatever superhero you want. Doesn't make a difference. Doesn't have to be DC. Doesn't have to be Marvel.
Fantastic Four, the Thing. It's clobbering time.
Ooh, I like it. Yeah, that was a good one. Okay. Now, Corey, I'm going to give you a bit of a layup, but give me a superhero that resembles that angry man, that man who rides around on the beach cruiser, that man that said, give me your train. Who best resembles Mr. Deebo Samuel? What superhero do you think of when you see Deebo?
Oh boy. Boy. This is hard.
Now the Smash says Green Lantern. Okay. But what say you, Corey?
I would say the Hawk.
Ooh.
Because Deebo is hard to tackle. Hawk.
Yeah.
He smashes through his defenders. Boom.
Yeah. He's ready. That anger. Okay. And then for me,
All right,
I'm
we
gonna
get
have
to
to
pick.
go with. I'm gonna have to go with
Yeah.
my man. Oh, well, actually, you know what? Somebody else could give me one. Matter of fact, that makes more sense.
All right, so here's your figure. Here's your player. All right,
Mm-hmm.
let's. Who is your superhero?
Oh, you would have been on Mitch Wish. I love me some Mitch. I do. I love Mitch Wisnowski, man. He is an awesome punter. He's an Aussie. He can tackle. Oh, okay. Mitch Wisnowski. You know what? I'm gonna have to say Mr. Fantastic.
Oh wow, I like it. I like it. I do.
Mr.
I do.
Fantastic. Because of that leg, baby. I'll punch this thing 50 miles in the damn air and you won't be able to breathe by the time it comes down. So I'd have to give him Mr. Fantastic. I like, oh, wait, hold on. Niner Smash says Namor?
Oh wow.
Okay. That's a big ask for a punter, but you know, Tiki Telecan. I'm all right with that. That all right. I just gave him Mr. Fantastic strictly based off the leg. You know, he can extend his leg to be able to get up that far, and you know, he punched that ball like nobody's business. Now, Crazy Juice did have a good one for that Dion. That's Dion when we won. Yeah, that's my dog. That's my man right there. Yeah. Although I don't necessarily like his comments as of recent, because he's doing a disservice to his own community and to some great talent. But it is what it is. Those are nice. Yeah. Now, see, people.
That's what a Super Bowl parade looks like.
I was just about to say, any Rams fans watching, this is what a parade looks like. You see how Steve Young's there? You see how there were people in the streets? You see how you could look like you could barely move? That's what it's supposed to. You see that? That's what it's supposed to look like, people. Look at that. You can't move. There's too many people. You have to actually have security.
These people weren't paid.
No one was at your parade. You could move around. I don't know what y'all was celebrating outside of the players celebrating themselves because there was no one else. You know.
Yep.
And I'm not even gonna lie to you. If I could share my screen and pull up what they parade looked like, believe me, I'd show you because it was trash. It was the worst parade for a winning franchise I've ever seen in my life.
The only people that were in the streets were the ones that were walking out there going, "What's going on?"
Yeah. Oh. Hey, why is all the streets blocked off? For what? Who won the Super Bowl? The Rams?
The difference
I thought they were still in St. Louis. Oh, they're here. Oh, yeah.
It might have been 29 years, since we've won a Super Bowl, but nobody at our parade had to be paid to be there. Everybody that was there was happy to be there. And
we were there willingly. And I tell you right now, we win a Super Bowl, there's going to be celebrations every state. Every single state is going. We have Niner chapters everywhere. Everywhere. And I can tell you right now, we win the Super Bowl, it is going to be insane. Like, you're going to have people in Texas celebrating. You're going to have people here in Arizona celebrating. California, you ain't going to be able to move. Like, it's going to be crazy. I'm telling you. When somebody say Darkwing Duck? Darkwing. I don't know who Darkwing is. I only know Darkwing Duck.
Darkwing Duck was a superhero.
I know Darkwing Duck, but he said Darkwing. So are you forgetting the duck, or is that an actual superhero that I don't know about? Because I don't know about Darkwing. I think that might be a spinoff of Batman or something. I don't know.
Man, Darkwing Duck. Let's get dangerous, everyone.
Mm-hmm.
And shout out to
Darkwing Duck, Chippendale Rescue Rangers. Where's Carmen Sandiego? If y'all remember, there was an MC Hammer show where his shoes would talk. Yeah, they were like magic and they came alive.
It's Hammer time.
All the old school stuff: Thundercats, Voltron, He-Man. All of that stuff, man. Those are the triple OG shows, bro. You know, you can even liken Fred Warner to Lion-O. He's the Lion-O of the defense. You know, when they trying to score, that's what he does, man. He looks at that playbook, you know, he says what he got to say. Oh, Nightwing. Yeah, I know you're talking about. Yeah, that's a spinoff of Batman.
The
I think that was
bad
like his kid or something. I don't know.
The bad Nightwing was spelled Nite.
Ah,
Yeah. Big Batman fan. Jason, we'll have to talk about that. Yeah, I got a pretty big. I'm sitting in a toy room. This side's my 49ers side. The other side's my toy room. And no, keep it. Pause. It's not like that kind of toy room. I got.
Wait, why you see Dave eyes get big?
But yeah, definitely. I like my action figures and stuff. But yeah. Mm-hmm. But guys, man, so today's the first day of training camp that they're going to be wearing pads. I'm sure we're going to get some videotape of them out there later, throwing the ball around and having a good time.
Sure.
This is the season. It's the season. There's definitely a feeling about this season. I don't care who the quarterback is. I think they're going to be there. We're going to the Super Bowl. We're lifting the Lombardi. If you guys got an opportunity to check the thumbnail, I got all the 6 Super Bowl champagne bottles. They're the bubblies. If you know, there's 5 black ones. They have all the Super Bowl logos on them. When you get to the point of the time and it's time to pop that bottle, everyone who can afford it or who likes to celebrate, if you give me a second, I'm going to pause and I'm going to go grab it. But there's a bottle and it's not too expensive. I think it's like $40 if you can find it.
Gold bar?
Let me pause. So David, go ahead and tell everybody what we got going on today. I'm going to go grab it real quick.
We got the Corey Davis Trivia Award Show tonight, which I'm sure after we're done talking about the trivia, we'll get into how the team looked in pads and training camp, of course. Then tomorrow night, Niners Coast to Coast. Aaron, Bryant, me, and Ty ought to be a great one. And as the week goes, things will come up. We got the Corey Davis trivia on Thursday night, and then Friday night, No Border Sports, NFL variety show. So we'll see what else comes up. Every content creator for the 49ers will be going live and doing shows at some point to talk about training camp. Yep.
Oh yeah, everybody's gonna be talking, man. It's gonna be crazy. Like, this is the time where it's gonna pick up, especially with the pads on, because then we'll get some 11 on 11s and we'll start to see some things. I really, really want to see what Steve Wilks does with these DBs. I'm very, very curious about that. I want to see how they look this year and what improvements he's made to them. But my hopeful guy, and I'll say that because he doesn't necessarily have a big chance, but my hopeful guy to be out there starting at nickel, Mr. Womack. And the number one reason I want Sam Womack out there, he's a ball hawk. That's what he does.
Yep.
He doesn't care about covering and zone. He wants to find the football and take it away from you. And I think if he gets out there doing it on a consistent basis and Steve Wilks can show him what he has, it's going to be flat out fantastic, man. I honestly feel like Womack has been forgotten since everybody kind of jumped on Isaiah Oliver and whatnot. And they pretty much almost all but crowned him the nickel. I think Womack is definitely going to have something to say about that. And if Steve Wilks can look at that young man and see what he has, and there's some players that have the talent, but they need the coach. If that makes sense, like you marry that talent with the perfect coach, it works. Kaepernick and Harbaugh, it worked. Kaepernick and anyone else, it didn't work.
No.
And that's Corey, what it was.
Corey, did you need to take a step away, or did you have something real quick?
No.
Okay.
No.
All right, Dean, sorry to interrupt. But so if you've been able to see the thumbnail, there are 6 bottles the 5 or the previous 5 rings that we have when we do win our next Super Bowl, and you have an opportunity to go and find the gold bottle. It's a bottle of champagne. It's really cool. But this is for our next celebration, our next Super Bowl. And then there's another drink out there, and I believe you can get this at the stadium. So if you're into whiskey, I don't promote people drinking if you don't like to drink. I like collecting things. I do like to drink a little, maybe a little bit more than I should, but this will be open until I win the Super Bowl. And then this right here won't be open until I win the Super Bowl either. But this right here is what I was talking about, the whiskey. I believe you can buy it at the stadium. So if you haven't seen a gold bar, and this one's the Dwight Clark one. I'm sorry about the glare. So it's got a picture of Dwight, and on the back of it, it does say gold bar. And this one actually came from San Francisco. I purchased it, and they shipped it the next day. I got it the very next day. So it was really cool because really excited about last year. So I've had.
And if y'all, really quick, if y'all ever need Gold Bar and y'all don't have access to it or you're trying to get to it, holla at Miss Debbie on Twitter. She'll hook you up. For real, for real. She will hook you up. You just got to give her the money. If she ain't buying your stuff and paying for your stuff, but she will grab it for you. Miss Debbie is a very, very sweet woman, and she will definitely take care of you. If you tell her ahead of time and you give her enough time, she'll get you about a gold bar. She's done it for several of us as content creators. I've never asked, but I know if I did, she definitely would hook me up. And shout out to Miss Debbie. Hopefully your knee is fully recovered and hopefully everything is going well with you.
Yeah, it's hard to find these sometimes during the season because everybody wants to, get it. Like I found the gold bottle in Stockton, and it was I don't know, it was before the season started, and I seen it and I was like, oh wow, $40. And I thought in my head, I'll come back and get it. Well, I came back the next week and it was gone, right? And then I'm looking all over Stockton to find it, and they don't quite have it. And I'm like, okay. So then my brother actually found this one for me, which is really, really cool. I'd like to get the other 5, and then we'll probably pop the other 5 open during games or something. But the gold one don't get popped until we win that 6. And the same thing with this one. We ain't gonna pop it open until then, and I'm gonna keep the case. But my dad, when I was back in 1997, 1998, we went to the store and there was 49er wine bottles, and there was a kicker wine bottle, Ray Warshing, and he bought it for me because I had the little Topps NFL card, and it was really cool. So I had that for a long time, never opened it, never planned on opening it. But sometimes people collect things and stuff like that, so it's not about being an alcoholic, but just showing people. But yeah, if you do see the thumbnail, I do truly believe this is the year. This is our special year. We've been really close, and we just something just has to go right. And I think we're going to be pushing it that way. We're going to make that push. So again, thank you guys for letting me have a little show and tell. But training camp.
First of all, Tommy, I ain't drinking no tequila. This is tea. If I was drinking tequila, believe me, my responses would be a lot more saucy, bro. I don't. Whenever I do it, I think I've only drank once or twice while on air. I try not to because my responses will definitely change and be a little more passion in my speech, if you will.
Yeah, you gotta definitely be able to control it, and if you can't control it, know when to party or when to indulge, and that's the whole thing. You might have seen me once or twice drink a beer on stream. I'm not afraid to admit it, but I try to keep my comments to myself. And if I start feeling a little obnoxious or whatnot, it's time to maybe tell everybody good night. But.
Yeah, right. Like, hey, look, I'm gonna gracefully bow out because this ain't gonna be good if I stay here.
The views might go up, but you guys aren't gonna like me much more.
Yeah, right. Believe me, man. I'm gonna start digging into stuff I don't need to. So, really quickly, Dave, if I'm correct, you are not a prediction kind of guy, right?
Mm-mm.
Yeah, Dave's not a prediction kind of guy. He doesn't do predictions. And I remember that about you, brother, and I respect it. So I'm gonna ask Corey and I'll ask Brian, what you think the record is for the season?
Oh,
no. Oh, you too? You're not a prediction guy?
No, I'm ready.
Oh, go ahead. Go, whoever wants to jump on.
15-2.
Ooh.
15-2 or better. I'm
Dang.
sticking with it.
Okay.
They're
Shout out to Jax Knox. She's always hanging out in Breezy's chats. Jack says we going 17-0.
Hey, I appreciate it.
She's not an L in sight. What say you, Corey?
I say I'll stick with what I've been saying. 14-3.
Mm-hmm. And I'm with you on that. I do feel like, and I'm gonna tell you right now, the number one game on our list that scares me, and that's contingent upon two things. One, they gel properly, and two, they gel by the time we get there. Ravens.
Yep.
Oh, little
Lamar
Spongy.
ain't had no receivers his whole career.
Sorry, real quick. Little Spongy, why do you think the Eagles are going 0-17? Dude. Little Spongy's our favorite little Eagle fan. We think the 49ers.
Oh my God! Here we go.
Predicted his team.
Well, you know what's happening. He's still mad about the Super Bowl.
Sponge, it's okay. It's okay, dude.
Yeah, I mean, look, man. Hey, look. I'm gonna give you a high five. I don't know you, but I'll give you a high five instead of a hug.
Yep.
It's okay. All right. You guys, look. We'll see you guys again.
Yep.
We will. And you took all our quarterbacks out, so it was an easy win. I'm sorry. I cannot. If I'm an Eagles fan, I can't knowingly celebrate that win knowing how I won. I can't crap on Niner fans if I'm an Eagles fan because they didn't have a damn quarter. Their odds weren't even fair.
The closest game I can think of in 49er history, and I might get some flashback, but it's that 2002, I think it is, the 2003. It's the playoff game. We beat the Giants. Right? Hey, I'm happy, right? But it's just one of those games you can't really super like pump your chest and say it because at the end of the game there was that flag, and it could have went both ways. We had somebody downfield, they got pulled down to the ground. It could have been a pass interference, but there was another flag or something. I think it negated it, or I don't know. We got lucky, but I mean, I can't pound the chest and be like, we beat the Giants. I mean, like truly, yeah, we did, but we kind of got a little lucky there, right? A little lucky. So, shout out to the Eagles, but no, the Niners aren't going 0-17.
Did you see Tommy in the comments? It's Spongy. I don't want to be a jerk, but you are dumb. Tommy is the most abrasive person, but at the same time, he try to be real nice. I feel like Tommy would just walk up to you and just start cursing out of nowhere. But you know who he is. I mean, I love Tommy, man. Tommy is an awesome guy, man. Shreds on the guitar, awesome on.
I know, David. Niner. I know what his prediction is.
Oh, okay. Go ahead and give it for him because he's not a prediction dude, so I respect him.
His is 14-3, just like mine. Because
okay.
We went through the schedule together.
Oh,
we did at one point. We did at one point.
Okay, there you go.
And we both came up with 14-3.
Yeah, that Ravens game just scares me. And the number one thing, honestly, is just because it's Lamar, and we have not had a good track record with mobile quarterbacks. We truthfully just haven't. So it's really frustrating whenever we deal with them. But I hope that those things will get better, and I hope that we will improve in that area, man. But I got to get up out of here. Got a few things to handle today.
Well,
thank you for having me, Brian.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it. You're always welcome. Again, we like having, civilized, polite 49er conversations. We don't always agree. That's what makes it fun, but we can always give each other our best opinions. And, if you walk away and you think, hey, Brian was right on that a little bit, or I walk away and say, Dion had a good point, it only makes us a little bit smarter. And, humans, we can appreciate each other and understand each other that much more. So thank you for coming, Dion. You are a true faithful. And, all I got to say is, man, let me know if you need something. I'll try to come through and help.
Oh, yeah, man. No, we going to get together on the show. When the season starts again, I'll start paying for StreamYard again. But when the season dies down, I literally cut it off. And I start back up when the season starts because I'm like, man, I ain't about to pay for that. I ain't going to use it often enough to really want to pay for it. We'll do that, man. I got to get with somebody to get me like an overlay and all that crap, but I'll get that figured out. But y'all have yourselves a wonderful Sunday, man. Everybody be easy.
Yeah.
All right, Dion, thank you.
Sweet. Thanks for coming, Dion.
And folks, that was Dion Niner Gang podcast. If you don't know, please go check him out. He's got a great channel. He's a real good guy. You know, everybody has passion, and he definitely has heart. So if you, go check him out. Subscribe if you aren't. You know, he's got a big following, and he's been doing it for a long time. And you can hear it. You can hear it in his voice. All right, David, Corey, before we get out of here, we could go a little longer if you like, but before we get out of here, let's hear you guys' thoughts. What are you guys excited about with training camp today? Pads are coming on. Do you have any, hot takes for the night, for the day, or anything that you would like to hear besides, if you want to talk about quarterback, that's fine, but anything that you guys would like to see maybe addressed today? And let's start with Corey real quick.
Well, I would like to see. Well, really, I don't know, because I hardly pay attention to the training camp that much. I'll be like to go outside and just chill in the sun some days. So like now it's sunny outside.
Mm-hmm.
So I just go out, sit in front on my front porch and relax and stay away from media.
Well, I have breaking news. Ted Talksball just reported he's at training camp right now. He just said that there will be no Purdy today. So that sounds like it's going to be good for the other three quarterbacks. They'll have a little bit more time, hopefully, to get some more throwing out, maybe run some plays here or there. So looks like they're going to give Purdy the day off for today. That's not a bad idea. What do you think, David?
I'm itching to see that O-line battle, buddy. Get some pads on. Let's see if that makes a big difference for McKivitz. At this point, that's my biggest concern. That right tackle spot. Yeah, McGlinchey isn't a good historical pass blocker. We all know that. But we need someone that can at least hold up for 3-4 seconds over there.
Yeah. Do you think Feliciano is going to do anything? Do you think he makes the team?
I think he could honestly beat out Brendel at center, but I don't know if they're going to give him that chance, because Brendel the last 4 games of the season probably played the best football of his career. And, over the first many games, he actually kind of looked like a rookie with all the mistakes he was making and everything, But I do believe Feliciano will make the team due to versatility, But this is the 49ers. We could end up with a surprise. He could end up being cut, We also have Nick Zakelj, who also has played every position along the line, I believe.
Yeah, camp today is going to be fun because of the pads. I think they're going to be a little choppy. They're going to be ready to go. I think there's going to be a lot of running, and I think this is going to be good because we do need to see what these guys can do with pads. When pads are on, it's a different feeling. It really, truly is. I know not all the players wear all the pads. You're not required to wear all of them, and if you are required, they definitely get away with it. But, in high school, you got everything. You got hip pads, you got a butt pad, you got a cup, you got knees, you got thighs, there's all kinds of pads. But then you look at somebody like Frank Gore, never looked like he had thigh pads on, never looked like he had knee pads on. The guy just ran forever. So, again, maybe, that's the way his key was to staying healthy, but they definitely put those things out. So what's your guys' thoughts with the helmets with the bubbles? Like the padding, you like them or you opposed to them? You think they're hotter for the guys to run around in, or?
Well, if they're going to have them on, if they're to reduce concussions, why ain't they playing with them during the game?
Right. Why take away the PPE if they're working during practice, but when it goes live, when you're on scene and all the lights are on, you take everything off. It don't seem like it's that's like kind of taking your seatbelt off when you're in the race car, right?
It'd be like taking the respirator off in the paint booth when it's full of vapors and nasty chemicals and taking a deep breath, you know?
Who's not thinking? I thought it was all about keeping our brains healthy and safe, right? So, hey, shout out to the NFL. Maybe you're listening. I really don't mind if they change the helmet a little bit and makes it look more like, I don't know, SpongeBob out there. They can do something. You can still get the logo out there the right way. You know, I don't know, but what's your thoughts, Corey?
They can. But I guess it just, I don't know. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe it's the players. So I'm not wearing it out there to the game. Now, we wear it out here because we don't have to worry about a lot of our fans seeing that. But go out there in that game, having that extra thing on the top, no. I think it's like the bike helmets. You see a lot of people not wearing their bike helmets because they say, "Oh, it don't look cool." And I thank God that I had my bike helmet on. It makes me look funny, but it saved God in a helmet saved my life.
Well, they say professionals, you know, and you look at professional bikers, you know, the guys that are riding through the city and stuff, and, you know, they got the really fancy bikes. They wear their helmets, you know, and they
Yep.
look silly or whatever. They got their cool little shirts on and their shorts and stuff. And nobody, I don't know, if you're making fun of them, they don't really care. They ride off, you know, or maybe they didn't even hear you. So I think it really goes into like a personal thing. When you have to start making
Mhm.
fun of somebody else, you know, it's like, you know, some people just joke and that's just naturally, but when you start putting people down and it's aggressive and it's just that kind of, that's your way you go about doing it, it's not right. And it brings up a good point to me. Like, you guys know, shout out George Kittle and Chubbies, you know, the shorts, the t-shirts and the clothing, that apparel line he's got out there. Well, if you look at the shorts, they're not down to the knees. And I think that's really funny because when I was in high school, my dad told me, you know, you're not sagging, you're not getting baggy shorts, you know, your shorts need to be above your knees, right? So a lot of kids in, you know, school, they try to, you know, in PE, you know, drop their shorts a little bit. So, you know, it looks like they got, and I'm like, I don't even understand that, right? I know sagging came from prison and I'm not a big fan of that. You know, they call people receivers and stuff. And I'm not about showing my butt to people and stuff like that out there. But it's just funny because like shorts used to go all the way down to your knees. And I know in the 80s when my dad was, you know, growing up, and you can look at the NBA, the shorts were higher up. Well, now it just seems really funny because the shorts are back up again. So it's like they're not trying to, you know, have your shorts at your kneecaps anymore. Now that your shorts are back in the middle of your thighs. So shout out to Chubbies. I'm getting me a pair of shorts. They look like they're pretty comfortable. And, you know, I mean, it's about you feeling good, not what other people think you are, you know? So, you know, but I can definitely see that. Maybe the players just don't like what they're looking at. But Steve-O brought up a good point, and he said they are working on a cooler one. So maybe the helmet wrap, maybe it's going to have to totally just get, you know, asphyxiated to the helmet itself, and they got to figure out a way to make it cooler because there's definitely something that has to be done. They can't keep messing with our special teams and our kickoffs and saying this is what we're going to justify to take away the concussions. Because I tell you what, if the data comes out this year and, you know, they still have as many concussions and they're still blaming it on the kickoffs and special teams, I think they're just trying to blame it on kickoff. Because at this point, people get tackled and a couple days later they're like, oh, I think I have a concussion. Oh, it must have happened on kickoff. And some of these guys weren't even on kickoff, you know? So it's like, what, you got a concussion because you're standing on the sidelines and kickoff happened? No, it's happening. People are getting concussions in practice. They're getting hurt in practice and weightlifting. There's all kinds of different, you know, things that's happening. So until you you know, make it safe for everybody, and can you really truly guarantee it's going to be safe for everybody? There's no guarantees. That's why these guys play the game. If it was completely fair and, you know, safe, I think everybody would do it. And then would they be justified to get paid the way they get paid? Would they be justified to, you know, even try? Because if they make it easy for anybody, then we all get participation trophies, right? That's why the Army has boot camp. That's why, you know, we used to have Hell Camp, you know, Hell Week in football. You know, I don't know if they do that anymore in pros, but it's something too. You know, Harbaugh used to have 2.5 hour practices. We're looking at, you know, Kyle, and he's got an hour and a half practice. It's a little different. There's no more 2-a-days. So
I don't know. They got to figure out something. Maybe they're practicing inside, behind closed doors, and the union don't know about it. But you take away the preseason games, you take away the practices, and these people are still getting hurt. I don't know if that's. I don't know. What do you think, David?
I think they took away the 2-a-days. I think they've took away enough practice to the point where it affects the conditioning of the players. And when it comes to concussions, all the technology we have, all the money they have, why don't we have a helmet that is literally designed to prevent them? And a lot of people will say that's what the helmet's designed to. Okay, they have the helmet on, they still get a concussion. It's obviously not working. So, NFL needs to pony up some money to some scientists and figure something out. It's straight up just like that. Quit taking away from the game, and make the PPE better.
So before we get out of here, now let's run through this quarterback, this list I had again. I tried to figure out all of them, and I missed a couple seasons. So I'm gonna pull this one up, and I'm gonna get everybody in correct order. That's 58 to 69. Okay, that's the last one, and then 80. Okay, so I think we got it. So we're gonna go up here 46 to 58. This is our list of our quarterbacks, and I'll try to go through it fast. So Frankie Albert, again, he was our starting quarterback, uncontested to 1946 to 1950. That's 5 years of being a good quarterback. Then we got Y.E. Tittle in there, and Y.E. Tittle started to take over, but Frankie Albert still played quite a few games. He was the predominant starter. Then Frankie Albert left, and we have Y.E. Tittle and Jim Powers, the first year of his official start. Y.E. Tittle, then Y.E. Tittle for several years, from the 58 to, let's see if I got this right, from 1958. All right, so here it is. 1958, we had Y.E. Tittle, then John Brody. John Brody came in. He was still there. He was backup. Then he takes over. It looks like he got the starting nod in 1960. Then it was John Brody, 61, 62. And then this is the first year that we had multiple quarterbacks besides just two. We actually had three quarterbacks playing. So 1963 was the first season that the Niners had a quarterback issue. And then we go down. We had, one and two quarterbacks playing for multiple years. We get to 1967. Again, three quarterbacks playing. So you're telling me that they got hurt, or you're telling me that they were bad and that's why they got benched? Whatever reason, they got benched. So that was from 1958 to 1970. 1970 to the 80s, we had some quarterback problems. John Brody was our quarterback all the way up until 1973. He was there for a long time. So then we go down again, 1973, John Brody's last year, three quarterbacks. Seems like once we let John Brody go, we started having quarterback problems again. Tom Owen, Joe Reed, Dennis Morrison, Norm Snead. Four quarterbacks, 1974. 1973, three quarterbacks. Then we get Jim Plunkett and Scott Bull, two quarterbacks. Plunkett's the man in 77. We let Plunkett go. Steve DeBerg and Scott Bull are there. So we kept Scott Bull from 76 to 78. Now we have 1979. Steve DeBerg, Joe Montana. Steve DeBerg, Joe Montana, 1980. And from the 80s, let's see. I think this one's it. Okay, from 1980, Steve DeBerg, Joe Montana, two quarterbacks. Then we had a couple years where we just had one quarterback. 1984, two quarterbacks. 1985, two quarterbacks. This is where we start thinking, oh man, we might need to get another quarterback because Joe can't stay healthy. 1986, three quarterbacks. 1987, three quarterbacks. 88, 89, 90, two quarterbacks. I'm starting to see a pattern where we end up having to have two quarterbacks every year. Every year we have to have at least two quarterbacks. 1958, okay, we did that one. Now we're going to go from the 80s. Now it's to 90s. Okay. 1990, Joe Montana. 1991, 90 was Steve Young and Joe Montana, two quarterbacks. 91, two quarterbacks, Steve Young, Steve Bono. Then we get a nice patch right there where it's just one quarterback, Steve Young. sort of what happened with Joe Montana, where in the 80s we had a nice run where it was just him as the quarterback for a short period of time. 95, 96, Steve and Elvis. 97, 2 more quarterbacks, Steve and Jim. 98, 2 more quarterbacks. 99, we have 3 quarterbacks. Okay, now we get to that pattern again where it's just 1 quarterback. Jeff Garcia for a couple years got the start. Now we're going to go to 02 to 2012. Garcia was our incumbent starter. 2003, we started making decisions and say, okay, let's put Rattay out there. Rattay takes over the job, but he's not the man. Ken Dorsey and him are back and forth. 2005, 4 quarterbacks. 2006, we give Alex Smith the nod. 2007, 4 quarterbacks. 8, 9, 10, 2 quarterbacks. 11, Alex gets the nod again. 2012, we're back to 2 quarterbacks. And that's the end of the quarterbacks that I have for right now. We can kind of see the pattern. It looks to me, guys, and correct me if I'm wrong, we have to have 2 quarterbacks every season. What's your thoughts, Corey? What's your thoughts? How many quarterbacks does the Niners need if history is correct?
Need all 3. Need all 4.
Yeah, we need 3 to 4 every season almost, huh?
Mm-hmm. The way Cal uses our quarterbacks, it's the way we have to have.
David, what do you think? How many quarterbacks do we need?
I think we should trade for like Justin Herbert. Then we'll trade for Trevor Lawrence. Then we'll keep Brock Purdy and Trey Lance, and we might make it through the season. That's just, I'm totally joking, folks. I totally am. But historically, Kyle has kept 2 quarterbacks, and last year he kept 3, and we needed 4. So, and the number 4 guy he didn't look prepared for the game. So, all that being said, we definitely need to keep 3 on the roster, considering our history of not being able to keep a quarterback upright. Yep.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. You look at it, and it goes all the way back to Frankie Albert. There was like 5 years where he was the only quarterback. Then we get Y.A. Tittle. We do know Y.A. Tittle had some moves. He was like moves like Mick Jagger. He was good. He went on to play in New York. He went on to become a Hall of Fame quarterback. So it's like, okay, we've had some really good players, but it seems like we definitely need 2 quarterbacks. And if you have 2 and they're both playing in the season, you might as well have that 3rd one. And then there's been at least 4 times since 1956 to 2012 that we've needed 4 quarterbacks. So if you need 3, you might as well put 4 out there. Now, if you need more than 4, okay, I don't know. You've done something wrong. You need to figure that out. So in our whole history of the 49ers, we've needed 4. We've needed 4 generally. And, it's either between 2 to 4 quarterbacks every season. There's only been a handful of times, and I can go back and count. We can visit this later. But there's been only a handful of seasons where we've had 1 quarterback go through the entire season and be the man. So who's going to be the man? And does it necessarily have to be a quarterback? I think it has to be a quarterback. I think every time we've had a quarterback, we went pretty far in the playoffs. We've won Super Bowls. I don't think it's a question that we need to keep playing around with. So somebody in camp needs to emerge and show the team that they're the captain, they are the guy, and they're going to take us to the promised land because this is the year. What's your thought? What's your thoughts, Corey?
Yeah, we need our quarterbacks. Like I've been saying, we need our quarterbacks. We need to be healthy. If they don't be healthy, we can't make it.
So here's a spin, okay? Right now, everybody's a little upset about the quarterback reps. Who's getting the most? Who's the dominant? Who's the starter? Who's the guy we want to play, right? but with them divvying up the reps, and maybe they're not divvying up them correctly, but it does seem like, one guy's getting so many reps and then the next guy's getting so many reps the next day. And they are trying to, it seems to me it's a little, to me, it seems balanced. Maybe not for the day, but the next day it seems to make it a little fair. So do you guys like the way they're going about it by them? It almost seems to me that they are trying to get all 4 ready. I'm really starting to believe that we keep all 4. What's your thoughts, David?
I think we're going to try to keep all 4, but the 4th guy, you have to cut and put him on the practice squad, and chances are there's going to be a team picking him up.
Yeah.
So, that's just how it is. And Brandon Allen, I remember back in the day, and I used to work with, a ton of Broncos fans, and he was the Denver Bronco. He came in for one game, had a good game. All these fans anointed him the starter. Oh, he's the future. It was and the whole time I'm going, this is just one game we're talking about here, folks. And sure enough, he came back and he did not look like a starting quarterback in the NFL. He's sat behind Joe Burrow for a few years now, and he's veteran seasoned. Is he better than Josh Johnson? Probably. But at the same time, there are so many quarterback needy teams, and I'm talking teams that need a decent number 2, that I don't think whoever gets cut out of these 4 is not going to be around.
So, Kurt Sampson, first time I've seen you here. Apologize if you've been here before. Appreciate you coming. Please like and subscribe to the channel if you don't mind. I appreciate it. But we also, you bring a great point up, and it says not going to put 4 quarterbacks on the active roster. 3 is acceptable with the strength of roster in other areas. And I totally agree. But my question, maybe to you and everyone here, we could put 3 on our roster. That 4th guy, if he's Brandon Allen or Sam Darnold, or Trey Lance, I'm not saying we put Trey Lance on the practice squad, but don't we have the ability to save a veteran where they can't get poached from our practice squad?
We do, but he actually has to make it through waivers the initial time and be put on our practice squad.
Okay, that makes sense. So if the first initial waves go through and he doesn't get poached right after the initial 90-man cut, we could potentially keep him on our practice squad.
That's correct.
So, wow, that's something interesting to think about, because I knew there was a possibility, but I do believe if we put him on, we let him go, there's a chance he's not coming back unless they made some backyard agreement, some stage hand deal. And that's very, very likely. I mean, when you give somebody like Nate Sudfeld last year, the amount of money that they give him, it was a guarantee. I don't know. We'll see what happens. Or maybe, shout out to you, Phillip Rivers. Maybe you're out there and you're still getting ready, you stay ready. We might need you. What's your guys' thoughts real quick before we get out of here on the possibility of having Phillip Rivers lead the Niners to a Super Bowl last year?
Now, last year?
Yes, because
I don't know.
Last year, what they had.
I know Phillip Rivers has a lot of mouths to feed. 9 with 1 on the way. So he might actually be looking for another job, but he has made plenty of money throughout his career. But honestly, I think a veteran like him would do pretty good on a squad like us with the offense we have. Maybe even if he doesn't have the arm strength that he used to have when he was younger, and the thing that all the intangibles and everything that goes along with what Phillip Rivers had. The poor guy spent his career with the Chargers, and the Chargers historically could have the best roster in the league, but something always goes wrong and they never get it done.
Yeah, see, that's the whole thing is last year there was a speculation, with Brock Purdy not being hurt, being hurt or potentially going into the playoffs. They were thinking about maybe going and getting somebody like Phillip Rivers, or Big Ben. And I think if they would have got either one of them, Big Ben actually came out and said he didn't want to come because he's loyal to the Steelers. But I think either one of those guys on our team last year would have helped us win the Lombardi. I think you didn't have to have the biggest arm. I think you just had to be able to get through the plays. And our defense, I think our defense would have really, really, really locked down Kansas City last year. And that's maybe again, that's the title, that's the feel, the vibes of the show. We are the faithful. This is the year. Get your bottles ready, people, because it's going to happen. And if it doesn't happen, don't pop the bottle just yet because there's still that belief. That's why we're the faithful. We keep coming, rain, snow. We're going to head up. We're going to see the show. And sometimes it's not the outcome that we want, but it's the outcome that happens. And guess what? We're not taking off our jerseys. We're not ripping them off. We're not burning them. We're not smashing our television. We're not Dallas. We are the 49ers. We are from San Francisco. We have a great stadium in Levi's, Santa Clara. Shout out to Taylor Swift. Hope you didn't tear up our stadium too much in your concert. And with that, guys, appreciate everybody for coming. Check out training camp highlights later today if you can. Go check out Corey Davis's show tonight. It's 7 o'clock, right, Corey?
Yes, 7 o'clock, and I might run a little late today because I'm going to go look at the car and then go out to eat and try to get back here before 7. So,
all right. So check your notifications. Put the little check mark right there on the bell because Corey might be going a little bit after 7. So if you want to pop in, it's the results show of the trivia, and I believe we got some good numbers for the people that's been playing. So shout out to everybody who's been playing in Corey's trivia. If you haven't been playing, if you want to start playing, show up on Thursday nights, and it's a lot of fun. Thank you, everyone, for coming. It's been a great show. We've been popping. Thank you for Niner Gang, Dion, Niner Gang Podcast, David McNiner, and Corey Davis. The panel was great. Everybody in the chat, we see you. Tommy Huxley, the camel with 2 humps, Steve-O Supremo, Kurt Sampson, thank you for coming. We have Little Spongy, John J., Ryan, Deanna, thank you so much. We have Jason. Check out Jason's Niner Smash Massey. Great channel they have. They go on Tuesdays. I'll see you there. Boss Quest, I see you, buddy. You're my buddy. And, Bebop Jones, the GOAT, Crazy Juice. I mean, you guys are just, we had a great chat, great show, great vibes. Please come back and we'll see you next Saturday. And before then, you'll find us again, tonight on Corey's show. Me and David will be going live with 2 of our good buddies, Aaron and Ty Austin. I believe, if I'm correct, it's going to be on David's show on Monday. So be tuning in because Coast to Coast, Niners Coast to Coast, that's the show for Monday. And real quick too, we have a guest on Wednesday night. Me and David's guest show has moved from Monday night to Wednesday night. We're still working out the scheduling for everything, but we do have a great guest coming on Wednesday night. And it's going to be 8 o'clock show. We're going to reveal the guest here in the next day or so. So turn your notifications on so you can get to see that. And guys, again, thank you so much. We got John Brody in here right now, 12 people, and I really appreciate you all. Damian Lee, I see you too. The force is strong with you. I see you. And I believe you also said shout out to Dak Prescott because I think it's his birthday. So, maybe you'll pass around the ball to everybody and give everybody some presents out there in practice today. So thank you guys for coming. Go Niners. Appreciate you.
Go Niners. F the Lamp.
Go 49ers, F all other teams.
And with that, guys, we appreciate it. Stay faithful.